Hey kids, welcome back once again to Smith Motor Works. Got some big progress made on the little Fiero here. I told you I was going to figure out something for that rocker panel, and we did with the sorcery of the 3D printer and a little bit of super glue, a little bit of paint. We got our 21 footer status established, and it looks way better than a hole. Take this as far as you want and make it much better if you want to spend the time to finish it out. It wasn't really that hard once I figured out how to do it, and I'm going to show you what I did, along with talk about how I fixed the wing studs that were pulling out and made some of the little strobe stripe that goes on the bottom. Nothing really complicated. You probably already have the tools you need at home. If you don't, they're pretty cheap. So check it out here. Watch some of the other videos. Like, subscribe, share. See what we did in the beginning, some of my other projects. There's a lot of good stuff. It's all good, but you'll enjoy this one. I guarantee it. Well, this is how I got started to get the cross section for that rocker panel piece. I mean, it's a continuous cross section, meaning it doesn't really change from front to back. So I knew that if I got the profile of this, that I could reconstruct it in CAD. And this is totally not sophisticated piece from the Chinese tool vendor guys. They're useful, but I got one just out of desperation. So well, I mean, I got one because it's cheap. How about that? But basically, it's a bunch of pins in here, and you kind of push it against whatever you're trying to copy, and you get that shape out of it. It's old tech for sure, but if you can see, you hold it up against something where we got some contrast here, you can kind of see how that shape pulls out of there. All I did was got a really good impression of this, which this one isn't. I'm just showing you how I did it. But I got a really good impression of this, and I laid it on a piece of paper and traced it out against these little pins right here. And you see, I took a marker and traced up against that on a piece of paper. I put it in a scanner, flatbed scanner like you can get wherever, Staples or Walmart or whatever. Scanned it, took it into my CAD program, drew over top of that scan, and extruded that to the depth that I needed. I use a tape measure to get those numbers, and built the 3D model. So I know for some of you that aren't familiar with this terminology, I'm speaking a foreign language here, but if you're not, find somebody that knows something about it, because this isn't hard for them to do. Okay, if you know somebody that can use those tools, this isn't a lot of work for them. Just tell them what you want to make, and you can get it done. So I'm kind of in the middle of being new tech, old man kind of thing, and so I know a little bit of all this stuff. But if you're don't know any of it, I mean, you can get this done. So don't be intimidated by it. Just talk to somebody that knows how to use these tools, and they're like, oh yeah, that's easy, because this is easy. I mean, this is not sculpting a Dungeons and Dragons figure or something like that, to where you got to really know what you're doing with surface modeling tools or something like that. This is super basic stuff. So, and this thing right here, whether you use it for what we're doing today or not, it's worth it. I mean, I think this was like $5 or something. I mean, you can use this for, fitting your molding in your house or something like that. So, here's another little tool tip. Get you one of these things. If you break it, get another one. I cut the broken end of this off with a Dremel tool, so I get a straight edge for my 3D printed part. Wear a mask on this stuff. I'm pretty sure this is ABS. I'm not sure, but it's little particles, and you don't want to be huffing that, so just be smart and protect yourself. But that's what we got at this point, and let's go to the next step. Okay, as you can see, I kind of trimmed the top of this back quite a bit. This part to clearance the fender where it sticks out, and then all these notches kind of fit into this trim piece here at the bottom of the fender. That's how it kind of, the rocker panel kind of plugs in to this trim piece. You can see I just cut this with a Dremel tool, which isn't really ideal. It just kind of melts it, really. Wear masks though, you know, lots of fumes and particles coming off of that. This stuff, this is PLA. You can cut it, which I cut this right here with some aviation snips. Cuts pretty good with that, but you know, trying to cut that groove out of there, that's kind of a trick, because it'll split and crack if you get it too far out from the edge. You know, really kind of the same way as cutting a piece of sheet metal with it. You know, you can't start in the middle with 10 snips. You know, they'll cut like maybe a 1/4 inch or something off the edge. So this got it done. You know, it's kind of loose, but I'm gonna actually do something different with this. I'm gonna kind of bond these together with silicone, because this rocker panel has to come off first anyway to get the fender off. We didn't have to do that when we repaired the fender on this car because it was already broken. But if I ever take this off again, the whole thing's got to come off. So the silicone comes loose pretty good. If you go back an episode, see how I took the emblem off the fender? You do the same thing with that silicone. Just run some dental floss through there. You can saw right through that stuff. Pretty good stuff for putting on emblems or trim. If you got some, you know, good old RTV Permatex silicone, it'll stick on stuff. If you fixture it up and hold it, you know, with tape or whatever, and let it dry, it's really tough and it's weatherproof. And then if you need to take it off, you can just kind of, you know, saw through it without making any issue. So that's what we're going to do here. And then on the junction side, and we'll show that in detail a little bit more. Probably gonna super glue this around here. This stuff flexes, or the piece I made kind of flexes a little bit. So on the rocker panel that's left, I drilled some holes on the bottom for rivets, and we'll put some corresponding holes in this, and we'll rivet that together to hold it nice and square. I mean, there's going to be a joint here when we're done. You're going to be able to see that, but the fit up's pretty good. We'll see that when we get this dry and ready to rock. Still chipping away at the list here. Got a lot more stuff to do. One of those things was to fix the studs on the wing or spoiler or whatever you want to call it. For some reason, the ones at the back were pulled out. Ones at the front were fine, but I don't know. I think it got caught on something when it went off road, and kind of, you can see here, kind of busted up the boss that these things go into. On the back side of these, I mean, this looks like a rivet almost. I mean, this has got like machine screw threads on this side, and then it's got like almost like a wood screw kind of deal. And I guess they just, you know, cram those into these little pedestals at the factory. These are still holding after, what is that, 38 years, I guess. Is that right? 84. But the back ones were pulling out. So seems like everybody takes these things and puts them on something else other than a Fiero, so I don't want to lose it. But all I did is put some good old original recipe JB Weld in there, and pretty rock solid. We're gonna give it a shot. You can see underneath the pedestal gaskets here, and there's a canyon of paint on here. Gray primer, which is kind of odd. I don't know if they primed this car or that was the original primer. I don't know, but regardless, I mean, there's a huge lip here. You can see where they painted and painted and painted. I mean, there's just big dry spots in here where they just, you know, aimed the gun at the side and just kabam, you know, shot it underneath there, and you know, no way you get a good finish out of that. So the only reason I'm showing you that is because the level of repairs that we're doing here is, you know, kind of a get her done mode. So trying to do a little bit better, but you certainly can if you spend some more time at it. But we just want to keep this thing rolling, so we're not really restoring it, we're repairing it. But it's gonna look okay. It'll be a 21 footer. Go back and check out some of the other episodes and you'll see what I mean. She gets driven, and we don't care about that. Not going anywhere. We'll pull her off the road one day and fix her up right. Okay, got a fit up here. I was really hoping to avoid putting rivets or anything on the front of this. I don't know why. I mean, there's going to be a joint here, but I was hoping not to have to do that. But on the bottom here, I can really only catch one because it's not flat. I doubt if you can see what's going on, but yeah, there's like a dip in it to clearance a bolt. So it's not completely sealed up there, but trying to sculpt this to fit that would have been a lot more CAD work than I wanted to do and trial and error. So we're gonna worry about the appearance from this side, and then I'll just seal that up on the bottom some other way. But what I wanted to show you, besides the fact that it does fit pretty good. I mean, it's hard to see because this doesn't really have much of a shine to it. And this, you're catching the highlight off of that. But the radius here and the height dimensions, it all came out really good. And I just used the simple profile gauge, like I showed you, to get that general shape, and then a couple measurements, and of course had custom notches in it for this trim piece that we got removed here. But what I'm doing right now is I'm holding it in place with this little thing that, if you've done any sheet metal work, probably heard of this before. It's called a Cleco. It's like a acronym for, like, you know, Cleveland Tool Company or something, I think. But it's CLECO, and they come in different sizes, and they're usually, like I said, usually for sheet metal work. But you know, these are two thin pieces that are hooked together, and it works fine for this. There's a tool that you use. I'm doing this one-handed. I can't believe it. Basically, if you can see those little prongs on the end, kind of pushes out, and those two that moved squeeze together, and you pop in a hole, and then when you release it, it clamps them together. And it's meant to be a temporary clamp, so you can, you know, fixture it in place, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, because I got the hole drilled in this, got the corresponding hole drilled in that, but I wanted to get these fit up really tight, which, you know, I do. Really don't even catch a fingernail across that. But I wanted to mark and drill these holes. I got one above this little bistrip welding clamp, and one below it, and I'll probably put one in the middle too, because I really want to pull in tight. I'm going to glue it. I'm going to try super glue on it. I meant to test it earlier, but I'm like, it's either going to work or it won't, so I'm going to glue it anyway. And those rivets, kind of like a wood project, you know, the screws just hold the wood together till the glue dries. That's kind of what the rivets are going to do here, except they're going to stay. The ones on the bottom, you know, unless I run somebody over and they're looking up, they're not going to see them. But the ones down here, you could see it, but, you know, even average height person, you know, your eyeballs are 5.5 feet away from seeing it, the closest you can get. So I don't think it's going to show up too bad, but if it really, really looks ugly, I might knock them out and fill these holes and paint back over that again. But I mean, all the other paintwork and stuff that this needs, that's super minor. But this accomplishes what we want. We don't have a big old gaping hole in the front, and we keep some of the road crud and garbage from packing in there, because I tell you what, these are plastic and it's cool, but they're still metal behind there, and you get that full of garbage in there, and it's just like an infected wound. You know, rust never sleeps, as they say, and it'll rot all that out behind it, and you'll be like, wow, why is my body panels falling off? It's because the underneath where they screw together, that part's rusted, which that can happen, but they're not too bad. One other thing is this corner right here. I think I'm going to have to trim that, kind of almost in line with this fender here, because the inner fender, that's where it kind of rests in this pocket. The inner fender kind of goes over that. I was looking at the other side and noticed that, but that's not a big deal. We're going to get it all fixtured up here, glued up, drilled, riveted, ready to rock, let it dry. And when I put the inner fender on, I'll just, you know, mark it and trim it. So, boom, done. Okay, there it is with the other 3 Clecos on the face installed. Drilled the top and bottom with the clamp on, put, you know, those in, and then drilled this one in the middle after the fact, because didn't want it to move around. But it's going to work. So we'll get this pulled back off and put the trim piece back on here. Get this interfacing with that good. You know, I may have to whittle out these notches some more to get it to fit in there right. But we'll get it to where it all fits up again. Put the Clecos in, and then I'll take them out one at a time and rivet. Well, I'll glue it, and then I'll glue it, and then quickly put the Clecos in, and pull them out one at a time and rivet it, and then leave it alone for a little while, and hopefully it'll come out pretty good. So one thing I forgot to mention, I was showing you the Clecos and the tool here. This is a little kit that I bought. Really not a lot of money, and you see those different colors. They're color coded, and you know, a pro, you know, aircraft guy or something like that probably looks at them and says that size is this, that color's this size. Well, you know, I don't remember those kinds of things, so I put little tags on there. They're going to get replaced with some nice labels later on, but I believe they're even marked on the barrel too. But you know, the eyesight ain't what it used to be, so I'll put a label on there. But yeah, they're different. So there's different fastener sizes for these things. Get pretty big. I mean, 3/16. That's a big dog there. But I think, you know, 1/8 is what you typically see, and I'm almost 100% certain that that's a universal thing. Like electrical solderless connections, you know, they're color coded too, but for the wire gauge, I think that's kind of universal, the color on there. So, you know, whoever you're getting these from, you know, black is always going to be 5/32 or whatever the heck it is there, and then the kind of copperish looking ones 1/8 inch. I'm pretty sure about that, but anyway, they're very handy. Better than you know, using sheet metal screws, which is pretty cheap. But if you're taking it on and off a bunch, it doesn't, you know, waller the hole out or hog the hole out like a screw would. So and for this plastic, you know, if I was putting screws in and out of there, that'd probably work one time. It would chew that up, and then it wouldn't stay anymore, and then it'd be loose. So, these don't really do anything but just kind of pull it together. So, perfect for this. So, anyway, you can get them other places. I got these from this aircraft tool supply company years ago. Worked pretty good. Like I said, not a lot of money. Something to consider. Well, hey kids, there you have it. It's on there. I got some super glue in behind there. Got 3 rivets on this face and 2 on the bottom. That's the most I could get there. But I mean, you can see I'm moving the whole thing. Don't know if that glue's going to work or not, but the mechanical fasteners will hold it. I'm hoping that the glue does the trick. I'm going to do an experiment off the car and see what this PLA and maybe ABS, I don't know. But whatever this is, I have a scrap of it because I don't throw nothing away. I have a piece of it. I'm going to glue them together and just do a test and see, is it really bonding? But man, it's on there. This is kind of loose here, and you saw this is too, because the inner fender kind of curves around here, which I got to trim that I mentioned earlier. It kind of ties it all together like an airplane. So, any panel by itself is super flimsy, but when you fasten it all together, it forms a strong, rigid structure. So, we're going to do that, and we'll throw some paint on it. I'm out of that color right now. I did get some on order, being Monday, but I'm happy with it. I mean, the contour fit really good. If I had it off the car, I could bond it up and hide it, and I don't know that you'd ever find it. I did, for what it's worth, I did take the countersink and hit these 3 holes to try to pull those rivets down to where they're not so proud. I don't know whether it made much difference or not, but I just felt compelled to do it. But you got to be careful because this is like 3 millimeters thick, which is less than 1/8 of an inch. So it don't take much, and you'll and I'm right on the edge here. You'll bust through that, and got nothing to fasten to. But like I said, it looks better than a big old hole, that's for sure. We get it painted, and it ain't gonna stick out with all the other little bits on the car here and there. What I haven't mentioned that check out here is this stripe. I made that. This is original that was on the Indy fender, but when we got the car, they just painted right over top of the stripe. So I knew it was supposed to be on there, and you can get them. I saw somebody was reproducing them, but it was kind of pricey, and I was like, well, hang on, I know a little bit about this stuff, so I scanned this my original piece that I have. That for some reason the owner pulled a piece of it off and stuck it in a old Haynes shop manual that he had. I scanned it and set it up, and you can see in here the pattern matches up pretty good. Now the material that I use is just cheap, like color printer, print and stick kind of thing. So it's probably not going to last. This is more of a proof of concept, and it's a little too small here. I think it's like 8/10 scale or something. That was just me goofing up the numbers, but the pattern itself will match, and we'll get it the right size. And I may take it to a sign shop and have them run me some strips so I can do the whole car. But I'm like, I'm not taking this off. And so anyway, I ran it down the door to the back, and it's only in like 11-inch section, so it's pretty wobbly. But I don't care. I can make more of it and straighten it out. But a little bit more, getting it closer back to how it looked from when we brought it home, and it was 100% Earl Scheib white. But we're getting there, little by little. Well, hey, there you have it. I don't know if I call that the final product, but it's where we're going to stop. As expected, you can definitely see the seam and the rivets. Oh well, but the good thing is it's on there. It's solid. I can go back and finish it later if I want, but really, there's so many other little nicks and chips and stuff on here. This isn't going to stand out. But like I said, we fixed that hole and we kept, you can imagine the tire spinning. It's going to just pack that full of dirt and grime in there in no time. Here in Indiana, we get the rain, we get the snow, we get all the nasty stuff, and and it ain't as bad as Michigan or something a little further north, but it's bad enough. So you got to be conscious of that. And as we all know, we drive this little car, and it gets out in the snow, the rain, and you name it. So can't just leave that hole there. But you guys want to take this a little bit further, body putty that up, smooth it out really good. You'll never find it. I mean, right now, I'm pointing it out, but somebody walking by this car, that's the last thing they're going to notice on it. We had a tear in the nose piece and stuff like that. It kind of suits it, I guess. A little bit of battle scars, but we know we can take it a little bit further, and that's why I wanted to show you how I did it. So you can do it too. Well, hey, there's another one in the can. I think we made a lot of progress. I'm happy with it, and as you can see, you can take it a little further and finish it out, and you can make it look really good if you want. One thing I mentioned earlier was I wanted to see if I could bond these two together with super glue, which is what we did, but I didn't know if it would actually hold. It does. So this is a piece of scrap that I trimmed off, and this is a scrap piece of the rocker panel, the gaping hole part that I squared up so we could try to get an easier edge to patch. It sticks together, so that means I can go and pop those rivets out, and I can plug those holes. You can even print glue sticks, hot melt glue sticks. That's something you can find out on the web. I might even do that if I decide to fix it. Pop those rivets out, print me a PLA glue stick, and run it through my hot melt glue gun and just kind of weld it together like that and finish it off. So, you get into with plastic like anything else. Is there a different expansion rate for this? When it gets hot and cold, is it going to pull apart? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing, it's hooked up now and it isn't coming off of there, so looks better in the hole. So I'm happy with it. Remember, like, subscribe, share. You guys know this. Comment, do all that stuff. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see. We're going to keep doing stuff regardless, but I like to hear because I love talking about old cars and trucks, bikes, motorcycles, whatever, anything. Wheels or an engine, man, I'm down. So let me know, and we'll have fun and make some new stuff. Hope you keep liking, enjoying it, watching, and we'll see you next time on Smith Motorworks. Dare to be different.